When Australians checked Facebook for news this morning, they got nothing. The company is in an escalating dispute with the government, which has proposed a law that would result in internet giants, including Facebook and Google, paying media outlets for content used on their sites. And it's not the only country rethinking the rules about getting big tech to pay for news. Redmond Shannon explains.
Australians knew Facebook might do this, but it was still a shock.
From the early hours of this morning, the social media giant began shutting down Australian access to the pages of major news sites.
Facebook has even emptied Aussie news pages for all users worldwide.
People will just revolt against it. Honestly, especially the younger generation, there would just be chaos.
The Aussie anger stoked by Facebook also initially removing non-news pages, including charities and essential services.
This is an assault on a sovereign nation. It is an assault on people's freedom.
It's all happening because Australia wants social media sites to share some of their huge ad revenues with news outlets. Broadcasters and newspapers have seen ad income fall since the start of the internet era. Facebook argues it actually helps by driving traffic to news sites.
If we had actually talked to each other, we probably would be in a much better situation than we are today.
In contrast, Google has struck multi-million-dollar deals with some Australian news outlets.
So will the minister insist that Facebook pay what they owe in Canada now? That would be solidarity with the Australians.
Ottawa is considering a similar law to Australia's.
Just last week, Mr. Speaker, I was in conversation with France, Germany, Australia, Finland.
The consequences for how news is funded could be huge.
But it doesn't actually tackle the key issue, which is that the model we've largely had for journalism and largely for print newspapers is broken. That advertisers don't go to print newspapers nearly as much as they used to.
The federal government has already pledged $600 million to help some struggling news companies. Redmond Shannon, Global News.